A report last week showed inflation is starting to ease, but the cost of childcare remains very expensive, and many families struggle to afford it. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here with ways to make childcare more affordable. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so what is the average cost of childcare right now?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Average is about $11,500 a year. So, you know, again, here in the tri-state area, it can be 2 or 3 times that.
Yes.
$1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month for families. It's a lot. And I think it's really weighing on parents because, frankly, there is help generally for people who are low-income folks, but for the people in the middle, there's not enough out there to really help. So we are relying on our families, basically.
No, definitely. And I think some people are even giving up their careers because they look at the numbers and childcare is too expensive.
I have found that as well. And I think there's a bit of a danger in that. And I notice this especially, we know when we do the report about how women have less money saved for retirement than men. Oftentimes it can be for this reason, meaning that I take a step out of the workforce, but now I'm not putting money into my retirement plan. Or I stay in a job that's not a great job, and that job is maybe not paying as much, maybe it doesn't have a match, but it has flexibility. So we give up a lot in order to afford childcare, which can have longer-term ramifications. I also want to point out that a lot of families are turning to the older generation, maybe the grandparents. Grandparents are helping a ton. I know they love to babysit, but some of them are taking money out of their own retirement accounts. That could be a danger. We don't want the grandparents to have to say to their adult children, uh-oh, I'm 82 years old, I need financial assistance. So we got to have a lot of conversations before we start forking over big dollars between the generations.
So those are some of the risks when you're doing these workarounds.
Yeah, and I think that it's hard to say no to an adult child or a grandchild, but I think it is important to remember that if we're all in this together as a family, we have to come up with some better solutions.
And you know, grandparents, sometimes they just don't want to do it. So, you know, I mean, seriously, and that's their right. I really do feel that way.
Absolutely.
All right, okay, so besides family, what are some other resources?
Well, there are government and municipal resources that are really helpful. And some of these can be found at childcare.gov. There's financial assistance, and you can find out what program is applicable to you. Don't forget, you've got to use your dependent care flexible spending accounts. If you work at a company that has those FSAs, you're basically getting help to pay for childcare with the government's assistance. And you've got to claim every tax benefit you can, the child tax credit. There are credits for people who are going to work under a certain income. So make sure you get all of the benefits you are entitled to. This is really important because a lot of that money does get left, and you sort of feel like you're leaving this money on the table, and it could help you out a lot.
All right, good advice, Jill. Thank you.
Sure.
And you can see Jill regularly on CBS Mornings and the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell. For more analysis, go to JillOnMoney.com.